So over the last few months, Sony has been refining all of their box speakers, and now we have the all-new Sony ULT Tower 10. And this thing is very impressive, and it puts a big emphasis on sound pressure. But naturally, we have to see how the Sony ULT Tower 10 compares to both the JBL Partybox Ultimate, JBL's largest partybox ever, and the JBL Partybox 710, which has been a workhorse for the last few years. Regarding pricing, the JBL Partybox 710 is the oldest speaker here and it retails for $800. However, it now likes to routinely go on sale for $700. Then there's the brand new Sony ULT Tower 10, which retails for $1,200, and it also comes included with a wireless microphone. And finally, there's the JBL Partybox Ultimate, which is also fairly new, and it retails for a staggering $1,700. Now, all three of these speakers are great, so if you want to pick any of these speakers up, they'll be linked down below, or you can always press on the YouTube shopping button. And if you want to further support the channel, pick up a big head approved hat, linked down below. We've got trucker hats and snapbacks. By buying a hat, you help the unbiased and unsponsored videos coming, and it also helps us cover more products and produce more versus videos. Thank you to everyone who's already bought a hat, and look out for more designs coming soon. And also, please remember to hit that like button, and let's get subscribed. Now first, let's talk about the design of these speakers. Now all three of these speakers are big. The Sony ULT Tower 10 is the tallest speaker here, coming in at a height of 43 inches, and it weighs in at 64 pounds. But then there's the Partybox Ultimate, which has a height of 41 inches, but it's the heaviest speaker here because it weighs in at 87 pounds. And finally, there's the JBL Partybox 710 with a height of 36 inches, and it weighs in at 61 pounds. So overall, all of these speakers are a bit of a hassle to transport, and going upstairs is going to be a two-person job for all of these speakers. But thankfully, all of these speakers can be rolled around because they all have built-in wheels. But rolling both of JBL's speakers is easier because these wheels are just a lot chunkier. So they do a better job of dealing with asphalt, grass, and thick carpets. Now when it comes to durability, all of these speakers have mostly plastic bodies which can get scratched up very easily, and they all have a thin middle grille on the front which can get dented easily as well. But more importantly, both of JBL's speakers are IPX4 rated, so a little bit of water won't hurt these speakers. Now Sony claims that the top of the ULT Tower 10 is splash proof, but personally I would recommend that you keep the speaker dry because there are parts where you can just see inside and see some of the wiring. But finally, there's the light feature on these speakers. Now the light feature on the ULT Tower 10 is decent, and I personally really like the floor lights on the speaker because it gives it a very large presence, and through Sony's app you have a few different lighting modes to choose from. However, I do have to admit that both of JBL's light features are more impressive and more dynamic than the light feature found on the Tower 10. And the Ultimate light feature is more impressive than the light feature on the 710 because it has been expanded with additional light bars and extra layers in the center rings. Plus, it also has those floor lights that I really like. Now, you shouldn't pick a speaker up solely on its light feature, but you do have to admit that JBL's speakers do look pretty cool at night. Now, when it comes to powering these speakers, none of these speakers have a built-in battery like their smaller counterparts. All of these speakers can only be used while they're plugged in, but in order to plug these speakers in, they're all using your standard AC port. But now let's talk about ports and connectivity. Now with all of these speakers, they can be connected to two devices at the same time, so you and a friend can both be DJ. Latency is not an issue for any of these speakers, so you can use them to watch videos with on your phone. And when it comes to audio codecs, both of JBL speakers have support for SBC and AAC, whereas the ULT Tower 10 has support for SBC, AAC, and LDAC, which is Sony's own in-house high-res audio codec. Just keep in mind that if you do want to take advantage of LDAC, you do have to be an Android user because iPhones top out at AAC. However, something that is unique to the Partybox Ultimate here is that it also has Wi-Fi. So if you connect the speaker up to your Wi-Fi network, you can always stream music to it either with AirPlay or Chromecast. But personally, I would prefer to use Bluetooth on the speaker, especially if you plan on letting your friends DJ. It's just a lot easier than having to share your Wi-Fi password, and you don't have to worry about your Wi-Fi acting stupid. Isn't that right, Asus? Now, when it comes to ports, all of these speakers have a USB-A port, so you can either plug in your own devices and charge them up, or you can plug in a USB stick and play music off of it. Now personally, I think it's great and all that all of these speakers have a USB-A port, but I still really wish that all of these speakers had a USB-C port so that you can either plug in your own devices and charge them up or use them as a wired connection, because most phones these days just come included with USB-C to USB-C charging cables. But all of these speakers still have your standard 3.5mm audio jack, so you can use them with a wired connection. However, both of JBL speakers also have an audio out jack, so you can always daisy chain them up to any other speaker, regardless of size or brand, and get them to play in sync. Whereas the ULT Tower 10, you just can't. However, what the ULT Tower 10 does have is an optical port, so you can always connect this speaker up to your TV and use it as a soundbar. So here you're gonna have to choose. Do you want to be able to daisy chain, or do you want to be able to hook up your giant speaker to your TV? But most importantly, none of these speakers have XLR inputs, so you can't use them with a mixer, and I do feel that is a shame. However, all of these speakers do have 1/4-inch inputs, so they can either plug in a microphone or a guitar. The main difference here is that JBL speakers have 2 1/4-inch inputs, whereas with the Sony, it only has 1 1/4-inch input. However, all of these speakers can be used with a total of 2 microphones for karaoke, because the ULT Tower 10 comes included with its own wireless microphone. Plus, you can always plug in a wired microphone as well. Just keep in mind that with the ULT Tower 10, it can only be used with 1 wireless microphone at a time. Now, overall, all of these speakers are good options for karaoke because they can all be used with a total of 2 microphones. However, with both of JBL speakers, you can easily adjust the sound of your microphone directly from the control panel up top. You can play around with the bass or you can play around with the treble. Whereas with the Sony, you can't adjust the sound of your microphone. However, with all of these speakers, if you want, you can add an echo to your microphone, but personally, I never use an echo on my mic. But also, both of JBL speakers do have their DJ buttons up top, which honestly can be a lot of fun depending on your host. But nonetheless, all of these speakers are good options for karaoke because they can all be used with a total of 2 microphones. But personally, I still really wish that all of these speakers had more 1/4-inch inputs on them so they can use them with more than just 2 microphones. But with all of that out of the way, let's talk about sound. Now, when it comes to speaker setups, the Partybox 710 has dual front-mount firing woofers with an exhaust port that shoots out the back, and it has a dual front-mount firing tweeters. But then there's the Partybox Ultimate, which also has a dual front-mount firing woofers with an exhaust port that shoots out the back, and it also has a dual front-mount firing tweeters. But it also has dual front-mount firing mid-range drivers. But finally, there's the Sony ULT Tower 10. Now, this speaker has a single front-mount firing woofer with exhaust ports that shoot out the front. It also has dual front-mount firing mid-range drivers, and it has a total of 4 tweeters, 2 that shoot out the front and 2 that shoot out the back. Now, with all of these speakers, you can go into their apps and you can adjust their EQs to your liking. But personally, I just like to use these speakers with their stock EQs. However, JBL speakers have their bass boost feature, and I like to use these speakers with their bass boost set to deep. But then there's the alt button on the ULT Tower 10, and I like to use the ULT Tower 10 when it's set to alt 2, because this is going to give you the most out of the speaker. Specifically, Sony is giving you the most sound pressure here. But now we're going to go ahead and jump into the sound test. All of these speakers are playing at 75% volume because I don't want to get on a first name basis with the police. Both party boxes have their bass boost set to deep, and the ULT Tower 10 is playing with alt 2.
whenever you need my love, need my love. Whenever you need my love, need my love. I'll never let you down. All my life I will be there for you. I'll always stay around. When you need someone to carry you, if you're looking for someone to, I'll be there to call you close. I'll never let you down. All my life I will be there for you. For you.
So first, we need to talk about the bass on these speakers. Now, simply put, both the 710 and Ultimate have a lot more physicality in their bass, and it's a lot more thunderous. The bass on both the 710 and Ultimate is going to shake the walls in your house, and it can even rearrange your furniture. Whereas with the ULT Tower 10, you can feel the bass and you can hear the bass, but it's not as violent as the bass found on these other two party boxes. However, where the ULT Tower 10 outshines both the Ultimate and 710 is when it comes to the clarity and detail in the mids, and when it comes to soundstage and instrument separation. With the ULT Tower 10, this speaker sounds a lot more open, and both your vocals and instrumentals are a lot more pronounced than on the party boxes. Yes, the party boxes have a lot more physicality in their bass, but the rest of your music is getting overpowered. And finally, there's the max volume performance on these speakers. The ULT Tower 10 is the loudest speaker here. Now, I feel that all of these speakers are overkill for at-home use, but if you're gonna have a house party, they'll all have you covered, but especially with both the ULT Tower 10 and Ultimate, these are going to be better suited for full-on events. Ultimately, it is hard to say which speaker is better here. It all comes down to preference. Do you want that extra detail in the mids and definition? Then go with the ULT Tower 10. Or if you just want lots and lots of bass, then you can go with either party box. But finally, let's talk about pairing these speakers up with other speakers. Now, with all of these speakers, if you have two of the exact same speakers, then you can always wisely pair them up and get them to play in left and right stereo mode. But with the 710, you can wisely pair it up to one other party box, like either an Encore, a 110, a 310, or to another 710, and get them to play in sync. But you can only have a total of two speakers wisely connected to one another. But like I mentioned earlier, the 710 does have that audio out jack, so you can always daisy chain it up to any other speaker. But then there's the Partybox Ultimate, which is using Auracast, so you can pair it up to other Auracast speakers and get them to play in sync, like either a Partybox 120 and or a Partybox 320. The main problem is that I have noticed that the connection can be very unstable at times, which can be very annoying. But most importantly, you cannot connect any of your larger party boxes to any of JBL's smaller Party Boost speakers. Now, JBL does say that you can connect Auracast speakers to Party Boost speakers, but the only Auracast speakers that show up here on this list are the Extreme 4, Clip 5, and Go 4. Unfortunately, there are no party boxes on this list, so I don't know if JBL is going to be adding party boxes through a firmware update. I really hope they do, but right now we just gotta wait and see. However, like I mentioned earlier, the Partybox Ultimate is a Wi-Fi speaker, so you can always group it up to other Wi-Fi speakers and soundbars on your network and get them to play in sync. But in order for this to work, you are going to need Wi-Fi, and also, like the 710, the Partybox Ultimate does have that audio out jack, so you can always daisy chain it up to any other speaker. But then there's the Sony ULT Tower 10, which is using Sony's Party Connect, and you can pair it up to other Sony Party Connect speakers, like either an XV900, XV800, XV500, or to an XP700 or XP500, and you can pair up to 100 speakers together and get them to play in sync. But the cool thing about Sony's Party Connect is that you can connect your larger box speakers to any of Sony's smaller speakers that are also using Party Connect, like either an ULT Field 7, an XG500, XG300, XE300, XE200, or to an XB43, XB33, or XB23. And in order to pair these speakers up, you can do so through Sony's app, and overall pairing these speakers together is easy and the connection is a lot more stable now. Overall, JBL used to be my go-to for pairing multiple speakers together, but unfortunately, there is just still a lot of fragmentation going on here. Whereas with Sony's Party Connect, it's a lot more accommodating. You can connect your newer speakers to your older speakers that are also using Party Connect, and you can connect your larger box speakers with your smaller, more portable speakers. But with all that being said, if you're trying to choose between the Sony ULT Tower 10 or the JBL Partybox Ultimate, personally, I would go with the Sony ULT Tower 10 here. First off, there's the most obvious thing here, and its price. The ULT Tower 10 is more affordable than the Partybox Ultimate by a decent amount. But more importantly, I feel the Sony ULT Tower 10 sounds better than the JBL Partybox Ultimate because you're getting a lot more details in the mids when this speaker is set to ULT 2, which is how you should always use this speaker. I also really like that you can very easily connect the ULT Tower 10 to a lot of Sony's older speakers and Sony's smaller, more portable speakers. And I feel that the included wireless microphone is a very nice touch. Plus, you can add a wired one as well. And if that's the case, then either Partybox is a good option. Or maybe you want a really epic looking light feature, in which case either Partybox is a good option as well. But overall, I feel the Sony ULT Tower 10 easily outperforms the JBL Partybox 710, and the Sony ULT Tower 10 really gives the Partybox Ultimate a real run for its money. If you made it this far, I guess you enjoyed the video, so hit the like button and get subscribed. If you want to pick any of the products up, they'll be linked down below. And if you want to further support the channel, check out the merch. I made some shirts and hoodies that look and feel great. And you know I can be very particular, so I'll only slap my name on something if I'm really proud of it.